All right. There is no doubt that the growing insurgency witnessed in Nigeria today has great impact on the lifestyle of the people. Many innocent citizens have been killed while going through their lawful duties, and others have been forced to live a life that is unusual to them. Now, joining us this morning to look at insurgency has affected and the way it has affected people's lifestyle is Lionel Rawlins, Security Coordinator, American University of Nigeria. Hello, Lionel. Nice to have you this morning.
Inokwana.
Alasure. Alasure. Alasure Barkama.
Jam Jam.
All right.
Nice to have you.
Good morning. It's good to see you.
Yeah.
As usual.
All right, this
I'm not
morning.
saying anything now.
I know, I don't even want you to say anything. Just the discussion proper. Thank you, Aaron. This morning we're looking at something unusual, I may say. How insurgency affects the lifestyle of people. That's why the fact that we're placed under emergency rule, we're placed under curfew, and every other thing, and then day-to-day activities of the terrorist group is also another serious impact people have been, that is on the people's mind. But how grievous or how bad is the insurgency, is the activities of the insurgents on the lifestyle of people?
Well, it's really bad because, as you can tell, people live in fear. It affects you socially, psychologically, politically, economically. But in the end, it's always bad because people live in fear. When people live in fear, then life becomes up and down. There is no rhyme, no reason, no right, no wrong. You just live in day to day. And what has been happening here is a clear indication of the impact of terrorism on the ordinary people's lives. Things like checkpoints, as simple as it is, affect people's lives. If you have a vehicle carrying food and to sell from one point to another, you have to go through 10 checkpoints. Before you get there, the food is melted, or if it's, let's say it's ice cream or something like that. But if you're a traveler, if you travel a lot, you have to take your shoes off at the airport. You have to go through these extensive searches. Your bag gets searched. There is weapons all around. There's gunmen all around. So it does affect you socially. And that's the social aspect of it. But psychologically, too, it affects you to the point where it can either make you suffer from PTSD, the post-traumatic stress disorder, or we can become so accustomed to the bloodshed that it means absolutely nothing to us. And it can also affect you to the point where, like, we could start hating each other. Like, for example, the Boko Haram is supposed to be an Islamic group. Well, there are people who might start distrusting all Muslims just as a result of that, which is, they'll be crazy to go and take a whole group of people and line them up with one small segment of the population. And then politically make the government look weak, and as if the government is incapable of managing its own affairs, and there's chaos and everything that's going on. But also, investors who are outside will see the government as not capable of taking care of the business, and they will refuse to come and invest their money.
Meaning also it has an economic impact also on the society.
Absolutely. And no one is going to come here. Well, after all of this stuff that's going on with the Chibok girls and the rest of the world know about it, nobody, I could almost bet you that no one has made any investment in Nigeria since then. Because the thing to do is to just wait it out and wait and see what happens as a result of this. Are we going to go into full-fledged war? Is the insurgency going to take over the whole of Nigeria and start killing everywhere? So what they do is they put the money on hold, but at the same time they're looking at other countries too, like Ghana.
Looking for opportunities.
Exactly, because they're business people. They really don't care so much about Nigeria as about where they could make the money. And so if they cannot invest there, they'll find a place close by and invest.
All right, let me have you react to the bomb blast that kills over 40 people, killed over 40 people in Adamawa State. That is based on the Vanguard newspaper caption. A bomb blast kills 40 in Adamawa State yesterday. Now, how would you react to this?
Well, it was expected. It is expected, and it will continue.
When you say it was expected, how do you mean that it was expected? Is it that we were not prepared for this, or we knew it's going to come?
Was there a notice?
No, there's no notice, no nothing. You just know that insurgency groups like to kill where there are groups, large groups gathering. It's either, like, again, at a bus station, maybe in a church, a mosque, a school, a club, a bar, a restaurant, where you have people, that's where you're most vulnerable. And it's going to happen again.
But this one actually happened at a football pitch where, youth are there to exercise, to catch fun.
Because they're vulnerable. It's large groups of people gathering around, playing football. They could be playing basketball. Anyway, terrorism, they find the most vulnerable targets where you can get the biggest bang for the naira. So you want to make sure that whatever you do, you get enough people killed or maimed or hurt. Because if it's a suicide bomber, he's not going to want to go and kill one other person or two other. He want to kill about 20 or 30 or 40 people. If you're going to set off a car bomb, you got to set it off in a place where you're going to have major impact. You're going to kill a lot of people. So you find places where people are gathered. And that is why, again, one of the ways it's going to affect us is if another bomb blast goes off, and it goes off in a bar or a restaurant or a club, you're going to find that nobody's going to go out.
So now, are we saying that large gatherings with too many numbers is not advisable with the current happenings now?
No, if don't avoid places where there are large gatherings of people, because it's a target. And if you went there tonight and you got away with it, you're lucky. You may not be so lucky next week. So any place where there are large gathering of people, avoid it for the time being, because it's the most attractive places, it's the most attractive kill zone for insurgencies or anyone. It doesn't have to be a terrorist. If an angry man wants to kill a lot of people because his wife left him or he lost his job, he's just going to a bar with a backpack full of explosive and set it off. He's going to kill at least 20 people.
But in an event where we cannot avoid it, what should be done then?
Well, people are going to have to start getting security by the doors. It's one of the things, again, this is the way we get affected by the insurgency. Pretty soon, you can't just walk into a store with your bag going shopping. They need to have security there. Take out that bag, let me see what's inside there before you go inside. It's happening all over the world, and it's gonna start happening here pretty soon.
But despite the fact that people cannot avoid going to some major public places, take for instance the mosque, the church, the market especially, and other shopping malls. But in a place like the market that nobody checks who, nobody checks what, the kind of movement and whatever bag you're carrying, what can be done in such a situation?
Again, this is where it affects us. The insurgency, to the question, how does it affect us? You're going to have to start checking people. Not just the people who are going in to purchase, but the people who are selling. How do you know that that cart that has a big pile of mangoes on the top, how do you know that there's not about 500 pounds of bomb and explosives underneath the cart that was taken in by someone to essentially to cause mayhem and destruction? I know it's a lot of checking to do, but you're going to have to do it. They do it all over the world. You can't just go into a place anymore and just, because we live in such fear and the realism of terror, we have to start doing these things. And that is how it's disrupt us, because then the people at the market, for example, are going to have to hire security, more men and women to check these things, and it's going to make it more miserable for them. Because it's going to take a long line to check, they're going to have to start coming in maybe 4 o'clock in the morning. So if you want to get your stall to sell your stuff. And then people are going to be aggravated and they're going to be upset because this is not what they're accustomed to, but this is where we are going as a society. We have to always take these things into consideration. And then they'll put the cost of the inconvenience on us, the people who are buying, because now they have to get up at 4 to be there at 5. They have to change the configuration of the cart to show that there's no bombs in there. And so you have to pay for that cost. It affects us all around. It's not just in people dying and losing lives and losing limbs, but financially, socially, and everywhere you can look.
Yes, this is a very serious situation, and it requires everyone's hands, since security is everybody's responsibility. It's not just only left in the hands of the government. Now, when you look at, let's just have an average description of the Nigerian person. And the Nigerian person is somebody who does not give, or does not care much about the next person living with him. And it's a culture that is not encouraged. Now, this morning, we're looking at the effect of insurgency on the people. What will you have to tell the people out there with regard to trying to be security conscious on their own? Is there any need for somebody to be extra careful? Is there extra vigilant? They need to be suspicious. They need to report things that you don't like around you.
The first thing I will say, if you're out there and you're listening, if you see something, say something. That's a slogan that everybody should remember. If you see something, say something.
People are scared.
People are scared, but I know, and then people don't trust, again, the police, they don't trust the military, but then you don't have to go to the ordinary corporal or the sergeant. If you see something, go up the chain of command, call the big man and tell him. Yeah, go up to the man and the big people and tell them, this is what I've noticed. Also, people, you made a very significant statement there about how the Nigerians live. I might not care about you. You might be my neighbor, and I really don't care. We say we do, but we really don't. And that is because of the mindset of the Nigerians. We put ethnicity first, and tribe first, and all that stuff. And then being a Nigerian is way down the line. You have to start thinking, I'm a Nigerian first, and then I'm a Fulani, or Yoruba man second. And to me, that is how you're going to overcome this. You got to think of yourself as one Nigerian. Anywhere you go in the world, the Frenchman say, I'm a Frenchman. Yeah. The Spaniard say, I'm a Spaniard. The American say, I'm an American. A Canadian say, I'm a Canadian. The Englishman say, I'm an Englishman. But if you see a Nigerian, you say, I'm a Yoruba man. You know, you're Nigerian, and you got to start thinking, we get out of that mindset that the colonialists put you in, and stop thinking about your tribe and ethnicity. Think of one Nigeria, and everybody is fighting for Nigeria. You're not fighting for your tribe, because if Nigeria fails, your tribe failed.
Sure. But Lionel, of recent, we've seen foreign aids coming to help the Nigerian military to fight insurgency. And despite their arrival, despite some of the things the strategists have put in place in order to fight this insurgency, we still have pockets of attacks here and there. Is it a total failure on the part of the military?
No, it's not the total failure. It's expected. I remember I told you all when they brought in the help from outside, I remember saying here on the show that we will see a lot of mayhem before this thing settles down. Because the insurgent's going to say, you bring these people, and you think it's going to make me back off? I'm going to just do more to show you that I'm good at what I do and I can do it at will. And so they find villages and towns and cities and places that are vulnerable and attack them and assault them. These places have no protection. You can, anywhere in Yola, anywhere around Jamaica, there's some little villages out there with people just living. They're just farmers and planters and herdsmen. Anyone can go there and just start shooting and kill them. And that's exactly what they do. They find the most vulnerable places and attack. And it's going to happen again and again and again. And you don't have enough soldiers to protect every village. Because if they start shooting up a village here, the soldier might be about 10, 20 kilometers away. And by the time he gets there, it's over and it's gone.
Sorry, not that I'm cutting you here, but this is something, again, that should have been anticipated.
Well, everybody knows if you don't think that it's going to be happening, you'll be crazy. It's going to be. It's probably going to happen tonight again, or maybe next tomorrow, as you say. It's going to happen again because they will lash out. It's the expected reaction and behavior of insurgencies or groups of that nature. If you come after me, I'm going to lash out. I'm going to lash out with fury. I'm going to lash out with fiercely and with violence, and I'm going to find the weakest link, the smallest people. I'm going to take advantage of them, just to show you that I'm still capable of killing.
Now, with what is happening in Nigeria, with the Ghana president, Dramani, said he held a meeting with the armed forces, and he said what he wants them to do is don't be ready, but I need you to be a step ahead. Don't be ready, but I need you to be a step ahead. Now, all of this is something that it's lacking when you look at the way the Nigerian military or the security agencies are operating in terms of what is going on in the country. But we have to react to that after now, and then we'll see what we can be able to come out with that. Now, we'll take a break, and then we'll be right back. Don't go away. Welcome back. This is Safiya Breakfast Show. Remember, later on the show, Bolaji Adams will join us on Success Clinic segment to discuss money matters. And Lionel Rawlins, Security Coordinator, AUN, is here with us and is sharing his view on how insurgency has affected the lifestyle of the people. Now, before the break, I was on the point that we see Ghana's president saying that there is need for the Ghana Armed Forces to be one step ahead of whatever that is going on with regard to what is going on in Nigeria, because he feels there could be a possible spillover of that to Ghana. Now he's moving one step ahead. Now, is this not lacking when you look at the way the military is operating in Nigeria? Are we seeing them trying to walk one step ahead, or they are kind of one step backward?
Well, it's a good question. First of all, yes, the president is right. You're supposed to be one step ahead. I say two steps ahead.
All right.
Because when you're one step ahead, they're just one step behind. So I'll say the way we used to train in Marines, we say, let's be 2 steps ahead of the enemy. And always be ready, not just be ready, but be able to discourage him, mess with his head. He never know what you're doing or where you are because you're so far ahead. Mm-hmm. And the military should be, of course, you can't be on the same level with them. You're supposed to be ahead of them. So whether it's 1 step or 2 steps, you're supposed to be ahead. Here, I really do believe your military is strong, and I do believe they're capable. I think that they don't have enough people to. Nigeria is the most populous country in Africa. You have villages all over, and you have millions of people, and you can't protect every little village. But I would suggest that the government hire all these unemployed youths and put them in the military and send them out to fight wars. Send them out to take care of this, and is a rate of attrition pretty soon. The older men will retire. You have a bunch of young men coming in to take their places. And then you can always have enough people to at least take care of certain villages, certain sectors, and put them out like that. But I do believe that they're capable. I don't believe that they're incapable. I think they don't have enough people, and they might not have enough resources.
Might not have enough resources, but yet we still complain about the over 3 trillion naira that is being expended on security matters in Nigeria. Now, we know that what's going on here is a lot of Nigerians are becoming apprehensive. And people are kind of expressing doubt over the military and even the government itself. So this sense of disbelief is one of the big issues that we're trying to deal with, and yet today it's not still comfortable with what's going on.
How can I be comfortable? I'm a Nigerian, and I live in a society that is always under tension. But is it possible for us to live a comfortable life, despite the fact that insurgency is on the increase?
Good question. The fact is, no matter how much terrorism and insurgency and insurgent strikes that take place, the people will not stop doing what they're supposed. It has never ever stopped society from functioning. So society will continue to function. You remember earlier I said psychologically, it can affect you by giving you this PTSD. You may go emotionally. You may be affect you to the point where you're kind of fearful and crazy or something. But on the other side, it make you hardened, and you're so accustomed to the killing that it doesn't bother you anymore. It's a death, and destruction means absolutely nothing to you. So you just keep going, and you just keep moving forward. It has never ever stopped anyone from functioning, no society. And no matter how many people they kill, society will continue to move forward. You will come to work, people will still go to shop, people will still go to eat, people still go to the market, and they will never stop people.
When you said people will still go to, I remember coming in through a public transport. Somebody saw a bus leaving for Maiduguri, and she was like, do people still go to Maiduguri? If I were them, I wouldn't even try that. I was like, life must go on.
Life goes on, and you will imagine that in Maiduguri, that people would be, and I was just there.
Because I wanted to ask you what you saw when you visited Maiduguri. How is their lifestyle there? How do they live? How do they survive?
They live just like you live here. You would imagine that life there would be at a standstill, that people not doing anything. If you go there, you will probably never notice that this is the heartbeat of the insurgency, and where all of these, they're in the state where all of the killing takes place. People still going about their businesses. There are people smiling. People they're still shopping. They're still going to church, going to mosque. They're still doing the things that normal people do. So it's a clear indication that even in the face of all struggles and death and destruction, life will still go on, and the people there, their lives are still going on. You're just living in a state of uncertainty, because the bus you could be sitting on could be the bus that has a bomb, and the bar that you're sitting in could be the bar that has a bomb, and the church that you went to could be the church that has a bomb. It's just a matter of luck and chance. But don't be fearful. Keep doing what you're doing. Death is beautiful, and don't be afraid to die.
Excuse me?
If you they said everybody wants to go to heaven, but nobody wants to die. You see, so we have to give up something to get something.
That's the usual song in Nigeria. But let's look at the place of adjustment, because a lot of people say there is need for people to adjust to the current happening that is going on in the country, which is one of the points you mentioned earlier on, where you said people get to just be used to what is happening around them. But do we just need to just adjust, or we'll try to fight the menace that is really making us uncomfortable?
Well, you adjust while the fight continues. The people who adjust is the population. The populace adjust. If you're living in a place where there's gunfire every day, there's bomb blasts going off, you just know that this is what people do when they live in those places. You have a wife and you have a husband, you have children. Whenever you leave, you tell them you love them. kissed him on the cheek.